News Radio 700 WLW.
Finding the right relationship is something that a lot of people search for their entire lives. They might meet someone, they think that someone is great, and then that someone turns out, well, not quite right. And so the search goes on. For the lucky, they find that someone, and they either fall into a very long relationship, maybe get married, maybe not, who knows? But it is something that is a catharsis for a lot of people, finding someone that's the perfect match for you. And that's why a lot of people turn to dating sites, Match.com. There's a million of them out. Tinder. Let's talk about Tinder. Tinder is a place where you used to say, well, I'll go there for something that's going to happen right now. But I'm not sure that's the case anymore, because I think there are other websites, other apps that are more hip for that than Tinder right now. Tinder is still very popular. But in any event, whatever it may be, whatever app, whatever website it may be, finding the right way to approach someone initially and then to keep the conversation going is a difficult thing. I think it's more difficult for guys than for women, but I think it's a difficult thing for everybody, regardless of gender. So enter AI, enter artificial intelligence, enter ChatGPT. ChatGPT may be the new language of love, because crafting that initial contact, putting that up on your profile to attract as many interested people as possible, that's what everyone wants. It appears that ChatGPT may be the new tool, but is it the right tool? Is it the thing that you really want to use, knowing full well that if you meet this person, you might not be quite as elegant as this AI that is creating your profile or trying to lure in the person that you're interested in? It's kind of like, in its own way, posting a picture of yourself from 30 years ago when you're looking for a date with someone 30 years down the road. Know what I mean? When maybe you were a little thinner, when maybe you had a little more hair, you know what I'm saying? Honesty is always the best policy. I think I have someone that agrees with me on that, but we'll find out. Janice Gaunt is a licensed professional counselor, relationship expert, and she's just released a book, Prince Charming is Dead or in Rehab. I am? No, Prince Charming is Dead or in Rehab, a guide to dating in the real world. And Janice Gaunt, how are you on this glorious Monday?
I am doing well, Ken. How are you?
I'm doing well because I'm not dead or in rehab, and I find myself charming.
I am sure you are.
Yeah, I can woo with the best of them. But no, your book sounds intriguing. But let's face it, what we're talking about here is honesty. And if someone really wants to present themselves to the world, I think you really have to come from the heart. And AI is not going to get that. It'll give you a lot of fancy words. It'll give you things that are crafted well. It might make you seem like you're, the next great George Clooney, but in essence, you may not be. I'm not sure this is the best way to begin a relationship. What about you?
I totally agree with you. I think the thing that is so concerning to me about the use of AI to create your profile or your contact with another person, because what people will do is, if something is, they'll create a fantasy in their brain pretty quickly. I know that we read a letter that was, the guy had AI make and send it to a girl, and her response, it was a poem, and her response to that was, "Oh my gosh, nobody's ever written me a poem. I just love it." So by that she had already made up a fantasy in her brain about what this person was going to be like. And the thing that bothers me about it is that one of the things that's so important in a relationship is that you have honest communication. If that guy had said, "Hey, I went to ChatGPT and had this artificial intelligence write this poem, and I'm sending it to you," then that girl would have had an idea that, oh, well, that could have been thoughtful, but he didn't take credit for something that he didn't do. And, one of the things that I tell my clients when they're dating, and my book is about dating, and it is about getting people to understand that a good relationship is not something you have, it's really something you do. So there are dating skills that are going to really help people when they're out there looking. But one of the things I talk about is I tell people, look, if you are saying, oh, this guy, I had 2 dates with this guy and this guy is fabulous. People say I'm a ball buster because then I'll say, he appears to be a great guy. He appears to be kind. He appears to be smart, because people, a sociopath can fake it for up to 6 months.
Sure.
So it's hard to sit across the table with somebody and believe everything that comes out of their mouth. So that's the part that concerns me the most.
I think this is all rooted in self-confidence or self-esteem and lack thereof. Why do we, and I'm not you, me, but I'm talking about as a general society, why do we have a trouble with the truth? Why can't we just be truthful up front? Are we afraid, particularly in this aspect of the world, are we afraid that what we have isn't good enough, so we have to make something up or use ChatGPT or put a picture on that really isn't us? It might have been us at one point, but it's not us now. Why do we not have the right self-esteem to be able to go and just present ourselves as we are right now, warts and all, as they say?
Yeah, I agree with you. In self-esteem is something that is created, and it starts in childhood, actually, because when our parents can teach us about the things in our lives that are working, things that are not working, but always being able to say, you are a fantastic person. Now, that behavior doesn't work for me, but you as an individual are great. So we have to, unfortunately, we think that our self-esteem needs to come from the outside, but really self-esteem comes from the inside out. And it is, if we are insecure with who we are and what we want to be, then that's going to create some anxiety, and people will tend to reach out to use other devices in order to lure somebody in. And I think that's kind of scary.
It is.
I'm really glad I'm not dating.
Yeah, well, I think it'll get you in the door. It'll get your foot in the door, but you might have that door slammed on your toes if you show up and you can't put 3 syllables together, let alone words. And here you are after this great posting about, poetry or whatever it may be. Now, look, you're a dating and relationship expert. I mean, you know that these apps have been around for a long time. There's just inherent deceit that goes on that level. This just seems like another step down the road of deceit with ChatGPT and AI. That's what it seems like to me.
I absolutely agree with you. And like I said, if that guy had come out in the beginning and said, I used AI to write this poem about you, but I hope you might like it, then that would be a whole different thing. But he is claiming that to be his personality and his view of her, and he doesn't even know her.
Right.
And she doesn't know him. And then she falls for it, because I think sometimes we can be really naive about who is sitting across the table from us even, but especially who's, pinging me online and telling me all these great things.
Right. Now, I think there is a place for it. And when I was out in the wild world and dating and whatnot, you would initially set up a meeting. You might it might be at a coffee shop or something. Just meet the person, get to know them, find out what they're interested in over and above what is in their profile. Maybe sometimes what's in their profile isn't really what they're interested in, but they still seem like an engaging person. And I think here's where AI could come into play. Let's say that goes well, that first meeting, and you're going to go do something else. Maybe you can go to AI and ChatGPT or whatever it may be and say, okay, I just met Rita, and Rita likes A, B, C, D, and E. What would be some things we could do that might play into her interest or his interest? I mean, I think there's a chance to use it as a research tool as opposed to being a beard for somebody. I think there's a place for it. It's just not what we've been talking about.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I love the the description of the beard, because that is exactly what that is. And yes, I think that the whole AI world is way beyond my brain capacity, but it is truly fascinating that we have the resources now for that sort of thing. So I think you can use AI or ChatGPT just to give you some ideas. And yeah, like, what could we do? What would be a fun thing for this girl to do because she loves the outdoors? What could be different? And then you can get information, and then you can utilize that for good.
Yeah, absolutely. If she likes the outdoors, this might prevent you from doing your own version of Naked and Afraid. It might actually let you do something that you can enjoy. Janice Gaunt is our guest. Her book is Prince Charming is Dead or in Rehab, A Guide to Dating in the Real World. Prince Charming isn't dead and in rehab. There has to be a third option there, Janice. Where is he?
Maybe he's in recovery.
Well, everybody in life is in some form of recovery. I guarantee you on that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Janice, this was fun. Thank you so much. And again, that book can be found, I guess, where you find anything these days, Amazon and places like that.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. It's always fun.
All right. And her website is betheremedies.com, betheremedies.com. Janice, take care. People need people like you, and we need to hear your voice. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.